Hello. Can you hear me clearly? Okay. Hello all, good morning. Thank you for joining the session. So today in this session, we are going to learn about SAP S/4HANA and also how the CRP system used by companies to manage their daily business activities. So first of all, let me show the agenda of this session. So first we'll understand what SAP S/4HANA is and why it is important for businesses. Then we'll see the roadmap of SAP S/4HANA, which means how SAP improved its older systems and developed its new advanced version. Next, we'll talk about OLTP, OLAP, which in simple terms we call it as online transaction processing and online analytical processing. How it was with the traditional approach and how it was with the SAP HANA database. Okay, and after that, we'll learn about different ways companies can use S/4HANA, which is nothing but deployment, and what all types of deployment we do have. And then we'll also look on the product portfolio, how the different business areas of SAP are covered, like finance, sales, procurement, manufacturing, and HR, how all these are covered. And finally, we'll understand the key benefits. And by end of this class, you'll have a clear basic understanding of SAP S/4HANA and how it helps company run their business smoothly. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So here we'll discuss about the introduction of SAP S/4HANA. So basically, SAP S/4HANA is a business suite which was developed by SAP SE. So basically, SAP SE was founded in 1972 by the five former IBM employees. Okay, this headquarters is located in Waldorf, Germany, and other subsidiaries were around the world. Okay, so over the years, SAP have released several major versions of its software. The first was SAP R2 in 1979 and followed by SAP R3 in 1992 and SAP ERP in 2004. But till 2010, the SAP used to store its data in the external databases. Okay, but from 2010, it has its own database, which is a HANA database. So SAP HANA came into picture from 2010. And in 2015, the complete version of SAP S/4HANA came into picture. So in 2015, SAP introduced SAP S/4HANA, which is considered the fourth major release of SAP software. So here in this SAP S/4HANA, S represents the simple finance, 4 represents the fourth major release of SAP, and HANA represents the database that SAP uses it. Okay, HANA refers to the high performance in-memory database. Okay, so SAP S/4HANA is designed to provide real-time processing, simplified data models, and faster decision making for modern enterprises. Okay, that's what these all points refers to, which gives you a clear understanding of how SAP S/4HANA came into picture. Okay. And if you go to the next slide, here is the roadmap. So this roadmap shows how SAP evolved step by step before introducing SAP S/4HANA in 2015. As I earlier mentioned, in 2010, SAP HANA database came into picture. Okay, from 2010 to 2015, how this complete SAP S/4HANA was evolved is what this roadmap is being shown. Okay, it starts in 2011 with SAP HANA. Okay, HANA was introduced as in-memory database platform, which means data was stored in memory instead of traditional disk storage, making it much faster, and also to avoid this complex storage of data and data latency, shifting from one system to other system. This all lacking was reduced when HANA database came into picture. Okay, in 2012, SAP introduced SAP BW. BW is nothing but the business warehouse powered by SAP HANA. So this allowed businesses to perform real-time analysis and real-time reporting. Okay, whatever transactions that we are posting in SAP, for that immediate analysis will be done and immediate reports will be produced. So if reports will be produced, the financial decision making will be done whenever the company wanted to do it in a real time. Okay, companies could now generate reports instantly instead of waiting for hours. Okay, and then in 2013, SAP Business Suite was powered by SAP HANA. This allowed real-time business operations. It combined both OLTP and OLAP. As I earlier mentioned, OLTP is nothing but online transaction processing. OLAP is nothing but online analytical processing. Okay, so in detailed explanation will be done in the further slides. Okay, in 2014, SAP introduced SAP Simple Finance powered by HANA. So this provided instant financial insights, removed data duplication, and created a single source of truth for financial reporting. Single source of truth is nothing but one single system for everything. One single system for everything, in the sense for finance, for sales, for human resources, for everything. Only one single system is used, and all the data related to all these business areas will be stored in that one system. Okay, finally, in 2015, SAP launched SAP S/4HANA. This was the fourth generation of SAP software. It introduced a simplified data model, improved user experience, advanced processing capabilities, multi-tenancy, and flexible deployment options like cloud and non-premise and on-premise. Okay, so this roadmap clearly shows how SAP gradually improved its technology year by year, leading to the powerful and modern SAP S/4HANA system that we are using today. Okay, this is about the roadmap for SAP S/4HANA. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Here in this slide, we'll learn in detail about the OLAP, OLTP and OLAP in the traditional approach. In the traditional approach is nothing but before HANA database was introduced, how this OLTP and OLAP were handled by the SAP system. So basically, as I already mentioned, OLTP is nothing but online transactional processing, and OLAP stands for online analytical processing. So what OLTP systems deal with? So OLTP are used to handle daily business transactions like purchases, sales, inventory, payments, account receivables, everything that the business does, all the transactions will be handled by this OLTP. Okay, so it focuses on the fast and accurate transaction processing. Now, when it is OLAP, on the other hand, it is used for analysis and reporting. So whatever transactions we are posting in the system, those all transactions which are related to purchases, which are related to sales, what are the incomes, what are the expenses, what are the profits, what are the losses, what are the costs occurred in the system. All this analysis will be done, and according to whatever reports we want, we can extract the reports. Okay, analysis and reporting will be done in this OLAP, which helps management to analyze the data, generate the reports, and make strategic decisions. Okay, in this traditional approach, company used separate systems for OLTP and OLAP because when compared to HANA, it doesn't have the in-memory database. In-memory database, which carries all the data related to both transactional and analysis. Okay. But here in the traditional approach, when SAP used the external databases, they used to keep transactional processing in one system, analysis in one system, and the final decisions in one system. That means here what they used to do is when the transactions are posted in OLTP, those transactions will be again extracted, transferred, and loaded in this OLAP. OLAP, where the analysis and reporting is done. Once the transactional data is uploaded in this OLAP, they used to analyze the data. They used to extract the reports, and then it will be sent to the final decision making of the company. Okay, what this created is the separation of the data when the data is being sent from two different systems for the financial final decision making. This created an inherent data latency. Inherent data latency means reports were not real time and they were always a delay, because if the system got stuck and if the transaction data is not being sent to OLAP, then it will not be sent to the final decision. So always if there is a delay in data extracting and uploading, then there is a delay in decision making too, which created a lot of lacking in the lacking in taking the decisions. Okay, so this outdated structure limited innovation and caused wastage of time, storage, and resources. This is why modern systems aim to combine OLTP and OLAP into one united platform. That's what SAP HANA database was done. So as I mentioned here, three copies of data in different data models. So first transaction, then analyze, and then take the decision. So three copies need to be taken. Inherent data latency is nothing but where there is a lacking of the always delay in extracting the reports, and poor innovation and leading to wastage. Okay, this is what OLAP and OLTP in the traditional approach. Now let's see OLTP and OLAP in the S4 HANA database. When HANA database was introduced, how it was dealt. Okay, in traditional systems, as I already mentioned, OLTP and OLAP were separated, which created complexity and delays. With SAP HANA database, this complexity is eliminated. HANA combines both transactional and analytical processing into one single platform because it works using an in-memory technology. Data is stored in memory instead of disks, which makes processing much faster and reduces latency. It also reduces the need for multiple servers, hardware systems, making it easier to manage. So, SAP HANA accelerate business performances through innovation, simplification, and real-time processing. Okay, this is what OLTP and OLAP with SAP HANA database. Okay, now let's go to the deployment. Okay, basically deployment means the method of installing, hosting, and running a software system in an organization. To explain you in a simple word, it explains where and how the system is operated, whether it is installed inside the company or hosted on the internet or a combination of both. So deployment is important because it affects cost, security, maintenance, accessibility, and control of system. According to the budget the company has, it has to plan whether the deployment need to be done inside the data centers or on the internet or the combination of both. Okay, before taking a decision of this deployment, they need to consider all these things. Okay, companies choose a deployment model based on their business size, budget, IT infrastructure, and security requirements. Okay, in this deployment, we do have different types of deployment. Okay, as I mentioned, based on deployment model. Okay, when I say deployment model, the types of deployments that we have: on-premise deployment, cloud deployment, and hybrid deployment. And again, under this cloud deployment, we do have two different types of deployments, which is private cloud and the public cloud, which will be explained in the further slides. Okay, and next we'll go to the on-premise deployment. Okay, so this on-premise deployment means SAP S4 HANA is installed and operated in the organization's own data center, either at one or multiple company locations. That means it owns the software. Means it can configure, it can change. The company has the control over that system. Okay, they manage implementation, configuration, customizations, and software licensing according to their business requirements. So, till now, the version of SAP, every year it has a separate version of SAP, right? Upgraded versions will be there. So far, this version is the existing version of the company is not sufficient, and they want more to get the more new versions of the reporting or new versions of the transaction postings and all. Then the system will take a decision of upgrading it. So company itself will have the access or decision making of upgrading the SAP software. Okay, the company's internal IT team is responsible for the security, governance, system maintenance, enhancement packs, hot fixes, and deciding when to apply the upgrades. So this model basically will have the high control, and the company will have the more flexibility, and also requires expertise in this system. So whoever knows this SAP S4 HANA at expert level can handle, because to take decisions on the upgrade versions or to handle the security things and all, they should have the expert people who work on this SAP S4 HANA. In some cases, organization may continue using its existing database instead of SAP HANA after proper evaluation, but this limits the full benefits of what HANA database has. Okay, so but on-premise deployment always offers a maximum control but requires greater responsibility and management. So because we do have the complete system control in our hands, so it gives more benefits, but how to use that benefits should also be known when this on-premise deployment was chosen. Okay, this is what the on-premise deployment is. Now let's go to the other type of deployment, which is cloud deployment. Okay, so cloud deployment means we are running this SAP S4 HANA over the internet instead of installing it in the company's own data center. Well, we'll have the limited control of this, and we need to give more security for this cloud deployments. So, with this SAP S4 HANA cloud, organizations can run their entire enterprise in the cloud. It covers business functions. All business functions will be covered, like finance, sales, procurement, manufacturing, and everything will be covered under this cloud. It has both new and existing companies through a simple subscription based model. Okay, instead of buying hardware and software permanently, companies mostly select this based on the features and functions. So basically, according to their budget, they'll choose this cloud deployment option. Okay, so it's completely SA solution, which means software as a service solution. Okay, which means the service provider manages the maintenance, updates, and security. Okay, but the company will not own this maintenance, updates, and security. They'll just use this cloud SAP S4 HANA, which is available on the internet. But the actual maintenance, updates, and security will be taken care by the SAP S4 HANA. Okay, and as I mentioned, there are two types of deployment in this cloud, which is private and public. So private, in simple terms to explain, which offers more control and customizations, but public cloud, which is more standardized and cost effective, I would say, because public cloud company, there is no need for company to take the maintenance and upgrades and the security. Okay, so basically, when compared to on-premise, cloud deployment provides flexibility, scalability, and easier system management. Okay, so let's go to the different types of cloud deployment that we have, which is a private cloud deployment and public cloud deployment. So in private cloud deployment, the organization uses a dedicated server. Okay, so only one server will be there, and only that server will be used by the company. And the data that they are using, everything will be private. This means the system is used only by the company. Okay, the organization which owns this can manage application settings, governance rules according to their business needs. But the business processes can be configured, but major modifications are generally not allowed. As this is cloud, if they want to do any major modifications, they have to reach out to SAP, request them, and they'll be doing it. So the release timing is flexible, similar to the on-premise model, uh, giving a little bit of more control than the public deployment. So private cloud deployment, they'll have the control, but not much as on premise, but more than the public cloud deployment. So in public cloud deployment, the system runs on a shared server where not only this organization, multiple organizations will have the access to this server. That means that's why we call it a shared server. Shared server where multiple organizations use the same infrastructure, and it follows a software as a service model. Okay, meaning SAP manage both the application and the infrastructure also. Okay, the configuration is standardized and modifications are not allowed. That means customizations of any programs or anything will not be allowed in this public cloud deployment, because as we already mentioned, it's a shared server. Multiple organizations will be using it. If we customize anything, it will affect the other organizations who are using this server. Okay, and updates will not be happen according to the schedule time of the company, but whenever SAP decides that this need to be updated, only in that particular fixed date or time, the SAP cloud will be updated, ensuring the latest innovations at a lower overall cost, because will not give much investment into this public cloud deployment, so will not have the control to make the decisions on the upgrades or the customizations in this public cloud deployment. Okay, so basically most of the companies, for the security purpose and for the control purposes, they choose private cloud than the public cloud. Okay, so even though public cloud is lower cost and faster innovation, but they'll not much choose public cloud because they'll not have the control and access for the customizing. So if the business is very normal and they want a budget friendly, then they'll choose the public cloud. Otherwise, they'll choose the private cloud. Well, they'll have the limited control of the customizations and all. Okay. This is what about the private cloud deployment and the public cloud deployment. And coming to the next one, which is a hybrid deployment. Basically, hybrid deployment is a combination of both the on-premise and the cloud deployment. Okay, in this approach, some parts of the business will run company's own servers, while others will run on the cloud. Okay, for example, an organization may keep its core system in on-premise data center, but run its remote sales offices, subsidiaries, or newly acquired companies in the cloud. Both systems are integrated so that all data can be consolidated for reporting and analysis. That means whatever data we are entering, whatever transactions we are posting, whatever master data is maintained on the on-premise can also be seen on the on-cloud as well. Okay, so that reporting and only as an example that I mentioned, in that the data will be maintained on the on-premise, but only for sales. Only for sales, they are using the on-cloud. So whatever data, sales data, for example, for sales data, we have the customer details, right? Customer details, sales organization details, company code details, all these details will be maintained on on-premise. Transactions will be posted in on-premise. For sales related transactions, cloud will be used. But the data will be shared by both on-premise and the cloud systems. Okay, so basically this hybrid system will give more flexibility, and company can also have a control over important operations while also benefiting the flexibility of this cloud and on-premise. Okay, so most of the existing SAP users, all most of the MNCs whoever are using this SAP will choose both on-premise and cloud options if the business is very huge. Okay, and they have multiple cost centers and multiple business areas, and every for everything they're using a one single platform SAP. Then they'll be choosing this hybrid deployment, where they'll have the SAP installed in their own data center, which is the on-premise deployment, along with this cloud, where the SAP will be available on the internet. Okay, that is what hybrid deployment means. Now let's see the product portfolio. So in this product portfolio, basically this is industry specific portfolio, which shows you all the applications and all the uh, cloud systems that SAP provides you for different business areas. Okay, and how this supports this different functions and industries. Okay, at this portfolio, which is showing here, in finance, as you see, solutions like SAP Ariba, SAP Concur, which help. So SAP Ariba is application cloud integrated system which helps you for the procurement, suppliers and all. Okay, whatever purchase related. When I say procurement, which is nothing but purchase related, vendor related data will um, can be seen in this SAP Ariba. So basically, to give you a simple example, purchase orders, purchase requisitions will be created in this SAP Ariba system. So SAP Ariba is basically integrated with finance, so that whenever purchase order is created in Ariba system, that can be transferred to this SAP finance system, and further processing can be done in this when SAP Ariba is integrated with finance. Okay, and SAP Concur, when we say SAP Concur, this application especially gives support for the expenses. When I say expenses, expenses of the own company. Okay. Expenses, for example, employee expenses. For employees, they give travel benefits, and also all the travel benefit expenses, all this kind of expenses can be recorded in this SAP Concur. When we integrate this SAP Concur with SAP FI, we can see all the expense related postings within this SAP Concur. When we post any expense related transactions in this SAP Concur, that can be automatically replicated in the SAP system. Okay, and then comes the SAP sales. So SAP sales, marketing and service, it provides the services like marketing, sales. And for this SAP Hybris is also a cloud integrated system which is integrated with sales, which supports customer engagement, e-commerce and after sales service. This SAP Hybrid is mainly useful for the customer management. When we say customer management, the client relationship can be maintained in this SAP Hybrid. Okay, this SAP Hybrid is also can be seen in this SAP service. Okay, SAP service. Okay, next comes the sourcing and procurement. Sourcing as procurement is nothing but where, as I already mentioned, procurement is nothing but purchases, right? How the purchase is initiated and how the complete process of procurement will be done, will be handled by this module. So SAP Ariba, SAP Concur, SAP Field Glass. Okay, Field Glass is nothing but it also helpful for the external workforce and manage suppliers. SAP Ariba is mainly deals with the procurement and suppliers. So Fieldglass will also be managing the suppliers and external workforce. Concur is nothing but the expenses that we do in this Concur system. And for human resources, SAP success factors and SAP Fieldglass will be SAP S/4HANA provides these applications for human resources for more I would say more easy posting of the transactions, easy analysis. These all SAP applications will be used. Okay. And also it supports supply chain, manufacturing, asset management, research and development. So overall, SAP provides integrated industry specific solutions that cover the complete business life cycle. Okay. So these are the different types of cloud integrated applications that SAP provides. Okay. And then we'll check on the key benefits. So basically key benefits where it shows you how SAP S/4HANA is very much unique when compared to the older or traditional approaches that we had earlier. earlier to HANA database was introduced. Okay, faster accelerated performances, because as we see, as we have discussed already, in this HANA database, which is an in-memory platform, it stores all the data related to each and every module, each and every business area, and also it helps us to do a immediate analysis and extract the reports whenever the client need it. Okay, and single source of truth is nothing but where we have the complete data which a company wants, so everything will be stored in one single system. Okay, and simplification is nothing but we'll just post the transaction, we'll just analyze it and immediately provide a report and take a decision. So all this can be done within a fast time span. Okay, and user friendly interface, so anyone who knows the concepts can easily, user friendly is nothing but they can, client will have a easy access to everything once they know that what, where need to be checked, how need to be checked. It's very easy for them to do. Cost effectiveness, within the cost budget, whatever budget they have, this SAP S4 HANA will provide lot more benefits for them. And innovation, so new customizations. If you own and control the SAP HANA database, then we'll have more access to innovate and customize the things according to the business requirements. Choice of deployment, we do have lot of choices to deploy and use this SAP S/4HANA. As I earlier mentioned, on-premise, cloud deployment, and hybrid. So we do have a lot of deployment options according to the cost and according to the budget that a business has. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Hope you understand everything about the SAP S/4HANA basics and the types of deployments that we have. Yeah. Hello. Um, can we stop the recording? My session is stopped. Hello.